Good morning, team. I am on the range. I know, Dryfire on the range, is that possible? Yes. So I wanted to take an opportunity to do some Dryfire on the range to show you how I use it on the range in order not to keep banging my head against the problem, rather finding a solution and then going back to live fire shooting. So I have a simple IDPA set up, a couple of walls and 6 targets, so 1 non-thread there in the middle somewhere. And so there's many starting positions, there's forced reloads, there's a port on that wall if I want to use it. Anyway, a simple setup with 2 walls and 6 targets that you can learn a lot from. So when I started on that side, I started to notice that my draw is a step draw. So you start in the middle of the wall, you step draw to one of the sides. When I started on that side, I was drawing between 130 and 150, which I think is acceptable. The target is probably like 7 or 8 yards away, and so is this one. Very, very similar distances. However, every time I'm stepping to the right, I don't know if you can see this, I am getting over 1.5. It was the last 3 runs were a 181, 160, and a 165. Now, could I choose to shoot sooner anyway? Yeah. Except every time I print outside of the down 0, that's a plus 1 second. So I'd rather sacrifice the 2/10, 3/10, whatever, to make sure that I have appropriate sights for that target. What I don't like is that I am not getting a consistent sub 1.5 draw on a 7 or 8 yard target, whether I'm going left or right. Now, I have a big match this week. I'm going to Oklahoma State competition, and it's a state match. It's like a level 3 or whatever it is, and I needed to practice with my jersey because I obviously have to use my jersey. Normally when I teach my classes or I do my practicing, I have my own defender shirt. With a jersey, things are a little bit different, so I started to feel a little bit weird, and for some reason going right has been worse than left. So brings us to why I'm making this video. I always have my stuff with me, like, why don't I make a video to show how I use Dryfire? So I want to make sure that I am on target well before 1.5 so that I can break that shot before 1.5. If I'm sacrificing 3 to 4/10 on every step to the right draw, it's going to be a really rough match, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to make sure that I can draw both direction sub 1.5. On that direction, I have a tough time. On this direction, I have a tough time. And I'm realizing that the jersey is giving me a little bit of trouble, so I'm going to work with the jersey. That's why I brought it to the range today. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to grab my handy little timer. I'm going to give myself a part time of 1.4. So I'm going to start at 1.4, and I'm going to see if I can bring it down to maybe 1.2 or so and still see something with a step to the right and draw. I have 2 modes of stepping depending on how wide the wall is. One of them is just to take a step and kind of put your feet closer together so you can do a lean, because this not only has that one target to the right, but then it has that target and that target, and that target is pretty nasty on the lean. So if you're too wide, like I would be in USPSA, that lean would be really difficult. So in IDPA, I bring my feet a little bit together on the leans to give me a little bit better lean without losing my triangles. If you don't know what that is, as you go through the program, you'll find out. So I'm going to either step in, I'm going to test both. I'm going to step in and kind of close my feet, or I'm going to do that IDPA little step, which is close open into that fault line. Because it's a smaller wall, sometimes that works well. Either way, instead of being focused on like the foot technique, I want to make sure that my sights are on target sooner with a good clean draw. So I'm going to do that dry for however long it takes for me to feel confident. Then I'll load the gun and go. Now, I do have a magazine with ammo in it. I have an empty gun. Like, I'm going to be careful not to have any mistakes, right? Like, if I send one, I have my ears on, I have my eyes on. Why do I say this? Because if you go to the range and you're dry firing, you have to be really careful that you're still applying all the safety rules. Know the condition of your gun at all times. So yes, I have a magazine there. Yes, there's bullets in my gun, but there's not one in the chamber. So I will press the trigger onto that target if I see the appropriate sights and start getting a sense of like shooting a little sooner. But again, ears, eyes and ears, safe direction, all the rules still apply. If it goes, whatever, like, be safe, right? I'm saying it for you. I'm likely not gonna do that. I've dry fired on the range a crap ton of times and that's never happened, but I'm saying it for you. If you're on the range, don't assume that you don't need your eyes and ears because, yeah, you're dry. No. You're on the range, there's live ammo, there's live magazines, so eyes and ears on the range the majority of the time. Unless you're gonna take all your ammo uprange, put it in the car or whatever, unload your gun, and then you want to dry fire. Again, it's about knowing the condition of your gun, right? Just want to make sure everybody's safe because we are on the range, and this is a, you know, video that we put on the internet. So I'm going to start mid-wall. On the first one, I'm just going to step and see what I need to see. Notice my feet kind of come together a little bit. That's good for the lean. I'm only going to point to the first target. Alright. Hard time. 1-4. Let's see it. Good sights. Trigger broke right around the same time as the beep. I'm going to do 3 or 4 of those and I'll reduce the time. One more. Okay. On that one I was behind, smacked the magnet here, so maybe some of that I have to deal with as well. So I'm going to reduce the part time, and if at some point I don't make the time consistently, then I'm going to try the other step over, see if that helps at all. If not, I'll stick with this one. This one feels really comfortable. One three. That's good. Maybe a hair late. Good. One more. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna go to 1-2. So that last shot broke at, sometimes when the hammer drops it'll catch us, so it broke at 1-2. So 1-2 would be pretty close for me. If that was a USPSA or IPSC style target, you better believe that shot's gonna break even sooner. But the penalty on these, not a penalty, the cost of the outside of the down zero is a full second. So I'd rather be at a 1-3, 1-4 and get the zero than be at a 1-2 and then suffer a second worth of problems, or I have to do a makeup, which is going to cost me at least a 20th anyway. Does that make sense? So the last 3 shots that I did here were a 122, 125, 128. I feel good about that. If I can break that in live fire, I'll be good to go. But let's push 1-2 just to see if I can even get the gun up there and see the zero very well at a 1-2. That was a 1-1-8. Nah. Saw the zero, but it didn't register, but it was definitely after the beep. Doesn't even say. Does not say. Okay, that was a 1-1-0. I am watching like a little bit too much of a streak, I think, for this sport. Maybe not acceptable. So I'm gonna try the other step just to see if it's any better. I left early. It's breaking sooner. I'm gonna do that a few more times. Okay, my assessment is it's breaking sooner. but I don't have my feet close enough together to do this specific lean. So for this position, I'm gonna choose against it. All right, so I'm gonna go back to what I had. I'm gonna do maybe 3 to 5 reps to make sure that I'm actually going sub 1.5 with good points on that first target, and now it'll be live fire, right? I'm testing if I can do what I actually saw and confirming what I did in live fire is working in what I did in dry fire is working in live fire. Okay. Okay, that was a 135 and a 18 split. Who cares, right? That was a 142 with a 16 split. So now I am checking my feet. Like, okay, I'm getting there, 2 in a row. I got the time I want. I want to be sub 1.5 on something like this. Okay, now I have the time that I want. Do I have my feet in the right position to actually finish the array is what I'm checking. And then, you know, I check the whole position. So I guess, you know, this is like the best way to show you how I would use dry fire in a live fire environment to push me closer to my goals, right? So if I don't like something, I can just hammer, and spend a bunch of ammo and probably not notice as much, not pay attention to as much, or I can fix it. Like, is it something about my draw? Is it something about my feet? Whatever. So that was a 142. Right, and then we had a 19 split, then we have a transition over, blah, 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 blah. Got it done in 281 for 3 targets with a nasty lean. That'll be acceptable for me. What I wanted to share with you hopefully comes through by way of, like, it takes you, I don't know, without the explanation, it's a 12-minute video right now. So without the explanation, maybe it takes you 5 minutes, 3 to 6 minutes, I don't know, somewhere in there. It takes you a few minutes to do something dry, pay attention to the things you're trying to fix, seeing sights on target, having the grip the way you want it, cleaning up the draw with your new kit. This is part of my kit for this weekend and all that stuff. And then put it back to live fire, make sure you're confirming what you worked in dry is working live. You know what to do, guys. Get after it.